The C3 is Citroen's hatchback with a twist and the Punch is Tata's subcompact SUV. Classify them as you will, but, in essence, these are two tough little cars of great interest. Their SUV-like styling cues make them distinct from like-priced hatchbacks, and both models back the style up with some degree of SUV-ness too. Nope, they won't take you far into the wild, but in the pothole-laden urban jungle, these relatively high-riding models have their appeal. The Citroen C3 and Tata Punch are both attractive in their own right. The C3 is more a hatchback on the crossover scale, but it's not lacking in road presence. It looks like a fairly substantial car, the appearance helped by its relatively long wheelbase and high roof. Styling is chic, especially up front where the split headlamps and X-shaped scuff plate on the bumper grab your attention. You can jazz up your C3's look further with customization packs. Our test car has the Vibe Pack that adds orange fog light surrounds, mirror covers and rear reflector surrounds, as well as side door molding. The contrast roof is also an option. However, the basic lift-type door handles aren't very 2022. The Tata Punch has a wider variant mix and the top-spec creative trim featured here sure looks upmarket with its dual-tone paint, diamond-cut alloy wheels and halogen projector headlights. Do note, lower versions of the Punch that are comparable to a C3 on price do wear a relatively deglammed look. In its basic appearance, the Punch is all about chunky styling, and really does look like a shrunken SUV. The Harrier-like split headlamps, high bonnet and distinctive tail lamps with tri-arrow LEDs are styling highlights. Both cars carry their exterior personalities into their cabins too. From behind the driver's seat, the C3 feels like the elevated hatchback that it is, offering a good view out. And just like the exterior, there's scope to personalize the interior, too, with a vibrant orange or subtle gray for the dash top. The C3's dash itself is stylish, but on the whole, the interior is a mixed bag. For instance, the landscape-oriented 10-inch touchscreen has a wow appeal, while at the same time the basic digital instruments display looks like it's been plucked from a budget scooter. Then there are things like the premium anodized dash top and scratchy, hard plastics lower down that could very well belong to two separate cars. The slim front seats also don't look particularly premium, but seating comfort is actually good. Sadly, the headrests are fixed and might provide inadequate head support to taller occupants. The Punch seats you slightly higher than a C3, but it's the Tata's more upright pillars and larger windscreen that give you the feel of piloting a junior SUV, and this subconsciously adds to confidence at the wheel. The Punch feels airier too, offering more space between driver and passenger. The chunky dash, with its squared-out aircon vents works well, and Tata's effort to up the perceived quality is visible with the different textures and colors used harmoniously on the dash. Panel fit is acceptable for this class, but on the whole, the quality of materials is more consistent in the Tata. The Punch's front seats are also more accommodating for larger occupants. Both cars score well on practicality, with ample storage spaces inside the cabin. The C3's center console has a nifty cutout to guide your phone wire, and there's also a large tray to keep your phone. USB slots, one up front and two at the back, should cater to all passengers' charging requirements. The Punch is down on USB slots, there's only one at the center console, but the Tata does get you a much larger glove box with handy compartments. A cooled glove box is also one among many features on the Punch that the C3 doesn't get. Other features exclusive to the top-spec Punch Creative, 8.42 lakh rupees, ex-showroom, include alloy wheels, auto headlights and wipers, projector headlamps, cruise control, an informative part digital instrument cluster, a reversing camera and powered mirror adjust. The thing is, the C3 is only sold in two variants, the higher of which is actually at par with a mid-spec Punch on price. Compare a C3 feel, 7.1 lakh rupees, with a similar priced Punch Adventure, with Rhythm Pack, 7.05 lakh rupees, and the feature set is actually quite close. The C3's 10-inch touchscreen with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is leagues better than the Punch's 7.0-inch unit. The Punch goes one up with a reverse camera and powered wing mirrors. Both cars comply with the latest Indian crash test regulations and get mandatory safety features like anti-lock brakes, dual airbags and rear parking sensors. The Tata Punch also packs an ISOFIX child seat mounts, and has bragging rights with a 5-star global NCAP rating, albeit in the older testing protocol. The C3's long wheelbase translates into a pleasant rear seat experience. There's enough knee room for 6-footers to sit in comfort, and the spacious seating position is another highlight. What is an irritant is the position of the power window switches at the center console rather than at the doors. Auto down for all windows is a small consolation. Adjustable rear headrests are sorely missed. Doors that open to 90 degrees allow easy access to the Punch's cabin, especially to the rear seat. Legroom at the back is comparable to the C3. The headroom is marginally better, and seating 3 abreast is comfier too, thanks to a near-flat floor and a backrest that's flatter at the sides. The top-spec Punch also packs in the safety of height-adjustable headrests and the comfort of a rear center armrest. There's not much between the two in terms of luggage space. The Punch does have the slightly wider and lower sill, which makes loading luggage that bit easier. Both cars offer the option to fold the rear seats to make more room for luggage. The C3 and Punch are petrol-only models, but where Citroen offers the choice of two 1.2-liter engines, naturally aspirated and turbocharged, both with manual transmissions, the Tata is available with just the 1.2 naturally aspirated engine, albeit with manual and AMT options. To keep things close, we've considered the C3 with the base naturally aspirated engine and the Punch in manual gearbox avatar. The C3's PureTech 82 engine doesn't quite have the bottom-end pep of the older Suzuki K12 units, nor is it as refined as Hyundai's 1.2, but it's still a very pleasant engine. It builds speed with ease. Power delivery is smooth and it feels responsive enough. It's in faster environments such as the highway that the 82 horsepower Citroen engine has the edge, feeling a lot freer and livelier than the Tata unit. The light clutch makes life easy in town, though the 5-speed gearbox is a touch notchy. After a go in the C3, it's easy to zero in on the Tata's weak link, its engine. The 86 horsepower Revitron unit offers adequate performance for easy driving and ambling around town, and the smooth gearbox and light clutch do help to this end. However, ask any more of the engine and it feels out of its comfort zone. Power delivery is flat, and the timid build of power means you'll have to plan overtakes out on the highway. The engine also gets quite noisy at higher RPM. Unique to the Punch are drive modes. City is the default setting, and while Eco helps save fuel, it only dulls performance further. There's also auto engine stop-start on top versions of the Punch. The Tata has an RI-rated economy of 18.97 kpl, which is just shy of the Citroen's 19.8 kpl figure. You will need to make more stops for fuel in the C3 though. Its fuel tank can hold all of 30 liters versus the Punch's 37-liter capacity. An area where both the C3 and Punch score big is ride and handling. Both models feel tough, and that quasi-SUV nature really comes through on bad roads. There are differences though. The Punch feels a bit stiffer, whereas the C3 comes across as better damped. Up the pace, and it's the Punch that feels more sure-footed. The C3 is stable, but there is more vertical movement on straights and roll-in corners. The Punch drives flatter throughout, and its nicely weighted steering only adds to the experience. In isolation though, it's the C3's more feelsome steering that keen drivers will like better. Both cars brake confidently and are easy to maneuver at low speeds. The C3 and Punch have their draws, but the choice of a better car eventually boils down to your priorities. If you value big car-like comfort features and don't mind paying a big premium for them, the fully loaded Punch is the one for you. Fact is, there really isn't an alternative in the C3 lineup. On the other hand, if you're someone who loves to drive, you'll find a good match in the C3 Turbo. Yes, it's down on features, but to many, the driving experience will more than make up for the absence of frills. Things get more complicated for buyers on a strict budget. Tata easily has the wider reach across India, and there's comfort in buying an established product. Thing is, the Punch loses its feature advantage lower down the price ladder. For the same money, the C3 PureTech 82 gets you similar features, with the added advantages of a slicker infotainment system and a better engine. You'll have to consider the proximity to a Citroen facility near you, but rupee for rupee, it's the C3 that makes more sense. The C3 Turbo, PureTech 110 in Citroen speak, gets no feature additions over the equivalent trim PureTech 82, so the 1 lakh rupees premium is solely for the engine. Is it worth it? In a word, yes. The 110 horsepower and 190 Nm, 1.2-liter 3-cylinder turbo engine is tuned for low and mid-range power, and what that gets you is an energetic little car. The brisk 10.7 seconds 0 to 100 km/h time is quick for a car of this size. It feels eager. The 6-speed gearbox is great to use and the steering is nicely tuned too. It's not the slickest handler, but in the absence of Fords, the C3 Turbo is among the most fun cars you can buy under 10 lakh rupees.